Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's the afternoon. Back. Welcome. This is going to be talking about relationships, the one I stuck away from for a while. No, I'm kidding. But this is going to talk about the relationships, do's and don'ts, and my experience of what I went through in I wouldn't say it was pretty traumatic for me. It very much changed who I am as a person, and it sucks going through it. Trust me, it definitely does. But I definitely learned a valuable lesson, and I want to share this upon you guys because I wouldn't ever in my life. This is the one topic I will talk about where I say it's probably gonna have multiple parts and multiple different things that definitely need to be discussed in this society. I feel like a lot of men these days and a lot of women are not realizing this, and I am still a person to blame. I'm a person to blame. Please don't blame me. But but I am still a person that I went through it, and I say I understand. It's so hard. And trust me, this was the time when I was coming out of high school, after COVID, still in COVID, not knowing anything else, and jumping into a relationship like that right after COVID. Not probably even during it too. So I didn't really experience life. I didn't experience relationships, going out, doing things like that because I was in COVID most of the time. So the person I met was during COVID, right? This was my senior year of high school. This is a hard topic, okay? It's a very hard topic to talk about. It took me a while, very much a while, to get over it and to accept that it happened to me and move forward. I was very much in a static activity for a while. I'm being around the bush because that's what I do. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. Starting with relationships, I really have to say to everybody, if you are dealing with somebody that is emotionally abusive to you and physically abusive, you leave them. And I understand. Trust me when I say I understand how hard it is to get out, or not even realizing it, that it's a problem. Because that was my issue. I did not realize how bad the problem was until it was too late. Until I really was fighting one day for my life, honestly. And oh, trust me, I fall back. I definitely tried, but you know, some things, I'm not a person to put hands on people until I have to. And when the scales flip, it flips. You know, and I let the person multiple times do things to me that I wish I didn't even know, because I blocked it out in my head most of the time. I had my phone recording. I was smart enough during those times to record every time he would do that to me, you know? And when I say I understand how it maybe proceeds off, you know, I grew up, my father was from Guyana. He had very much old generational ways of growing up, of making me a person, you know, disciplining me in a better way, okay? And honestly, I believed it was okay, because you know what, my father did it. It doesn't matter if my man at the time, if I could forgive my father, then I could forgive him. And that was always in my head. It doesn't even have to be your father. Anybody that you had an emotional or abusive relationship that was close to you, that really stuck with you, doesn't even have to be your father. Trust me, it could be anything. And it's an attachment, you know? It's definitely an attachment of, oh, my low battery, sorry. It's definitely an attachment and also trauma. People don't realize that it stemmed off of your childhood and what you grew up around. And it's very much of a scary thing to go through. Sometimes, for my sake, I remembered some of them, and most of them I did not. Most I did not. And I had that person telling me, oh, it doesn't matter. It's not like a big deal. Like, it's not like I killed you, or it's not like you died. It was like, it's not like he was like, there's a difference of putting hands on somebody, and he would always basically make himself the victim. Literally, even though he had 0 marks on him, most of the time he had 0 marks on him, the one time that actually something did happen and we got into a physical altercation, doesn't matter, he would always victimize it and say that, oh, it's not that bad, you're over exaggerating. And I would tell him, like, yo, what are these marks? What is this? What is that? He's like, it's literally playing it off, right? And I couldn't understand why I was not seeing it. I was like, I never wanted somebody to treat me like how my father treated. I literally had it before I got into a relationship. If anybody acts like my father, does things like my father, out. Completely done. You're done up. Get the fuck away from me. I had that mindset, but you know what? This kind of scenario is like, I felt like I was going to marry the man, and I felt like this was the forever home that I need to stay in. I felt like this was my only option, in a way. I felt like he definitely made me feel like this. He definitely made me have an attachment over him, you know? Like, I really much had an attachment, loving attachment, emotional attachment, just an attachment to him, always hanging with him and doing things. He always was watching my every single move, asking where I was and things like that. He always, if I didn't answer in time on my phone, he would be like, every girl's on their phone, why you never check your phone? I would remember doing my schoolwork, and he would be like, I would literally finish a couple essays that I like was very depressed at the time, and I was really not getting things done because of the things that were happening. He would just always, not play it off, but he would literally say, like, he would yell at me like I was the issue, like, oh, why didn't you answer your phone, why didn't you do this? And if I didn't answer the phone, he wouldn't talk to me for days. He wouldn't text me for days. He would get his little self and then wouldn't text me for days. And I'm just like, what the fuck did I do? And I was going crazy thinking it was me. I was the problem. He would always make me think that I was the problem too. So it really much made my fucking brain go crazy. I will have to tell you, I was also on a medication at the time for, I'm gonna discuss and say, birth control. And I know a lot of this is going to be very controversial for a lot of people, but in my experience, depression is a cause. Birth control it's mood swings, can cause mood swings, right? And there is a cause in depression. And I was in, my environment at the time was so very bad. Okay, so very bad. That's not even a word, English, but very bad. And to the point where it was atrocious to even like speak to people about it, because it was just like, wow, I was in a dark cloud. And I definitely knew he knew this, but I was not accepting the fact of what he was doing. And it definitely was because of me thinking all the time, if I could forgive my father, I could forgive him. If I could forgive him, he's somebody that I'm gonna live with for the rest of my life. But then I had to think with my head, like, do I want my daughter to go through this? Do I want my kids to go through this? Do I want them to see me get hit? Did I want them to get hit themselves? I had no clue with his damn mood swings or his anger. I would never want that to happen. And I had to put that in my head so many times to myself. I'm like, I do not want to be in this situation anymore. I do not want this for my daughter. I do not want somebody like that for my daughter. And this is just one part of things that happened. I did not find out all these things. I will have to say, definitely the universe, definitely somebody out there was definitely trying to show me, because if you guys know the widget things on your phone, they were showing pictures and things like that and bringing up things that I hadn't even known I'd taken. Even my Snapchat had memories from a year ago when things I thought was perfectly good. When we were in the honeymoon stage, things were coming up. And that's when I realized in my head, I was like, how many things did I block out of my head? And I remembered what I would do as a kid. I remember what I would do with my father. I would block out what happened to me. I would block out anything that happened to me or the experiences I went through, because it was a trauma response. It was a response in my head because of all the traumatic things I was going through. The traumatic things that happened to me, I blocked out of my head. And it's the truth. And you can't really change that. You really can't. It's a trauma response, and it's scary, but it happens. And it happened to me. And when I say I everything changed after all those things came out, and I had to put in my head those things, you know. But I'm saying, if people are in an abusive and emotionally abusive relationship, because he was also always, he was not an uplifting person. He was not. He was very much putting me down all the time. He was not always like there. It was literally like I would have to fight to even see who to fight for his, almost like a fight for his attention, you know. And I was in a relationship with him, and I hated that, because it's like I never wanted that. I knew my worth, like, you know, I still knew my worth, but it was down. It was plummeting down, honestly. And I talked about, because of the medication I was on, it was also, it heightened my emotions. It heightened me to think so, like, whew, say if I was sad, I was 10 times sad. I was literally like at the point of like, put this girl on watch type shit. No, I'm kidding. But it's truth to that. It was very much truth, and it's not a laughing matter. I just very much say it because it happened to me, and it's a very scary thing to go through. I would never want anybody else to go through what I went through, and I say it's not worth it. If they're not fulfilling exactly what you need, for real, why the flippity flap are you with them? And that's even just emotional abuse. Abuse physically, get the fuck out. You know, that should be the crossing fucking line. If you had a traumatic past, I understand. Trust me. I tried to delegate it back and forth. Like, I forgave him. I forgave my father. I forgave him. But he's not a forever thing. He was never. This man that I barely fucking knew. Remember this. Because it's not like he was my father who tried raising me and was disciplining me as being, because that's what he knew as a kid. That's what he knew. That's how he grew up, and that's how he was taught, you know. And I forgave him for that, because, you know, I would never do it to my children, but I cannot change who he was. He chose to be like that in his life, and that's it. But this is a random person, okay? Really think about it. He's a random person that came into your life, and he's treating you like this. Truly, who the fuck do you think you are? What power do you have? Oh, none. Because, honey, that, okay, is not that motherfucking good. And I know it. Because emotional connections to men, women have emotional connection to men. And women have emotional connection to men. Women get by emotional affection, by that connection like this. Not by fighting, and not by getting abused. If so, get some help. No, I mean, yeah. I mean, definitely, you definitely should check that out, because you know, it definitely is. Some people do have that, like, fetish. And, I mean, if it's consensual, then go ahead. You know what I mean? But if it's not, no. You know, women have an emotional connection to men. You're gonna definitely have better with somebody that you are emotionally connected to than somebody that's treating you like a piece of trash on the street. For real. He's stepping on you like the gum on the bottom of his shoe. He's literally always stepping on you. Why? You are gonna allow that? Why? You shouldn't. For real. And I say that from experience. And I don't want to say like, you know, like I'm saying all this and all, if I get into a relationship, it's gonna happen again. No. Because I'm gonna know that I have the boundaries. I went through that phase of thinking that, oh, this is my forever person. I will never find anybody else. Yeah, I'll find somebody else. Most definitely. I will find somebody else. But I've chosen to heal myself. I've chosen to write. And that's honestly another thing that really got me out of, like, my situation, things like that, is writing. It is writing all the time, writing things down, writing everything that he was doing, and reading it back to myself. And, like, really, I'm going to be honest with you. I was very spiritual. You know, I very much believed in the divine. I believed in energy. I always believed in energy, because I was very a scientific buff back in high school. I love my science. And Newton's law, I think it's Newton's law, I think it is, says energy never dies. Okay, energy mutates, transmutates, anything, but it doesn't ever die. We're made of energy. Our bodies are made of energy. Okay, our brains are made of energy. There's 80% of our brains that scientists don't even know about, okay? Doctors don't even know about, even in their books, because I went to psychology school too, and they even explained it to us. They don't even know 80% of the brain. They know probably a portions of the brain, but they don't understand why it works and what it does. It's energy. So I definitely, at that time in my life when I was not really much spiritual, I thought to myself, and I kept writing, and I thought to myself, and just praying and thinking, not praying, but honestly praying. I came to a safe spot of myself, and I started to just think, please, what am I doing wrong? Please, please, please get me out of this situation. Writing down things that happened to me, realizing, what the fuck am I doing? I literally had to read that shit back to myself, and definitely somebody was watching over me and helping me through this process to get my ass out and be like, literally turn me and yank my ass out, you know what I mean? Like, but definitely see the signs, because the signs are there. Your spirit guides, people, if you don't even believe in that, people are always by your side watching you, you know, always trying to help you out of situations. Nobody wants to see you in a situation with a man you barely fucking know, and there would definitely be another, trust me, you barely know is emotionally and physically abusive to you. Why would you want that for yourself? Why would you accept that for yourself? I get it. If it was truly like you had a traumatic past, or maybe if you didn't, maybe sometimes you just get stuck in it and you really truly love the guy and you really care about him. But think about the future. Think about your kids. Think about what they will see. Think about how you would traumatize them. Because trust me, I was the kid getting hit. I was the kid watching my brother get beat. So it's not fun. It is not fun. Trust me. If I could have a different aspect of my childhood, if I didn't have to have my childhood like that, I would have taken it. But that was not in the cards for me. And I don't hate that. I don't hate on my not having a childhood. I think honestly it shaped me to understand my path. It really made me a stronger person, you know? Very strong person. But did it give me a lot of motherfucking trauma? Hell yes it did. So I just want to explain to you and gravitate to tell you guys is I understand. I understand every single part of it. And it's truly, it comes down to this. Think about the future. Think about your kids. Think about what life you want to start for yourself. What type of family dynamic you want. Because I know it's not being in an abusive emotional relationship. You don't want your kids seeing that and him doing it to you, and you don't want your kids to go through it, because you don't know. You do not know what that type of person. You don't know how they will morph, evolve, and do something to the child. You don't know. Just because maybe, oh, he's just doing to me, oh, he's just a little angry, he just has anger issues, he calms down and he apologizes to me, and he says sorry, he gives me things, he gives me all this. He's just fucking feeling guilty of his fucking self. He knows he's gonna get his fucking karma, and he's trying to mask his guilt. You understand? He really does not give a flying fuck what he did to you. Truly. He really does not. He was like, he really thinks in his head he doesn't give a fuck, but he's gonna try to keep you by giving you all these gifts, by giving you these flowers, or not even giving you that. Sometimes they'll just say sorry. That's enough? Well, I'm sorry. Bruises stay on for longer. Marks and physical marks stay on for longer. Emotional pain stays in longer than just, and all he could give you is an I'm sorry. For 2 seconds, he's gonna say I'm sorry to you. And you're gonna accept that, right? You're gonna accept that I'm sorry. And you're gonna take him back. And it's gonna do it again, and it's gonna happen again and again and again. And now you're stuck with a kid. Now your future is now here. Now what are you gonna do? Think about it. Really think about it. Emotional abuse is even worse. Because honestly, I will tell you this, is stemming your fucking depression. If you're around somebody mostly 24/7, you're talking to them 24/7 and dying together, literally not giving each other a fucking break, because that's what most couples do. Maybe you do, it doesn't matter. But if that is the case, where's your mind gonna think? You're surrounding yourself around this person who's always thinking negative of you, always lashing out negative shit to you. What is your mind gonna think? Truly, what is your mind gonna think? You think it's gonna be all happy and oh my god, cheer and joy? No, you're not. You're not gonna be happy. You're gonna be truly in a deep negative depression, negative hole, and it's gonna be even harder to get out. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're sticking with that person, because I'm gonna tell you something about a narcissist. They love to take your friends away from you. They love to not let you have any friends. They rather you have 0 friends than any, because if you have friends, your friends are probably telling you get the fuck out and you're not listening to them. Well, listen to those motherfucking friends. Trust me. My ex hated all my friends. He hated my friends. He used to love to trick me and let me go and see my friends here. I would always have to ask to see my friends, by the way. I had to ask my ex at the time to see my friends. Who the fuck do you think you are? For real. I think to myself back, I'm like, damn, Olivia, you're so... And I'm not dumb. I just didn't know. I don't think anybody is dumb. But I'm saying to myself, I'm like, I'm so dumb to not realize that what was going on to me. And I really have to say, nobody taught me. Nobody's really sat me down and was like, this is why everything's happening. This is what you should do. And I get that. Truly, I get that out of that. But it wasn't anybody's place to do, you know? Even when I was going to therapy, my therapist wouldn't even tell me to leave. My therapist would not even tell me to leave the man I was with. I will have to give it to her. I was not telling her everything, but I was telling her a good amount enough. My therapist was no help. I will have to tell you this. She definitely, I should have got a new one, and I'm a person that I don't do that. I'm gonna say, I really said, like, you know what, I'm gonna have to deal with this therapist and I'm gonna just make it work. Even though I knew me and her just was not a good click. I mean, it's just, she didn't really pay attention to the known details that was really happening to me. Which I do not blame her, you know, like, it's not her life, it was mine, you know. She tried her hardest, but what else can another person do? Mostly, I will tell you, is like, even if you go to therapy, even if you talk to friends and things like that, nothing is going to change unless you change yourself. Unless you pick up the pieces yourself. Until you pick up yourself, no, you're never going to change. You're never going to get out of the situation, because you don't want to. You want to stay like this. Sorry. You want to stay like this. You want to stay stuck because you think this is the best thing for you. Because you don't see the future. You don't see anything else. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Look at the future and look at the place that you're in right now. Look at your present moment and look at the future. And look what will happen in the future. Just in your present moment. That's all I want you to take out of it. And I love when people tell me, it's like, why don't you have a man's? Why don't you do this? Why? Now, because I'm also in my healing journey, you know? Like, I'm definitely healing, and I chose to heal. I definitely chose to be a whole different fucking new person, reinvent myself. Yes, because I chose to do that. Trust me. I remembered every single day. I would look out his bedroom window, and it would used to be all, like, New York City lights and shit, and I used to think to myself, that's the world. I want to be in it. I want to experience it. I want to skip, because I knew I was stuck. I knew I was in the cage. I felt like I was in the cage in my whole, like, that whole relationship. I felt like I was in a cage that I couldn't get out. Like, there was bars everywhere, and I was in a trapped ass fucking cage. Honestly, truly, the fucking cages, the rails to the fucking cage were wide as fuck. I could go right through them, but I was so blinded by it that I couldn't see how big of an opening it was to get through to the other side, because the grass is greener on the other side. That's what I would say. If I could put a picture of how I felt like that's how I felt. I felt like I couldn't see shit. Like, I could see the world, I could see it. I felt like I was so trapped in the cage, but I didn't realize, could not see how easy it was to walk through the cage and walk out of where I was. I thought I had to stay. This is it. This is because how I love is so deep to the point where it's like, it's deep as fuck. So deep, you know. I love to give my love to people that deserve it, but sometimes I had to learn those lessons on the people who don't, you know. I do not expect other people to be like that, but now that I went through my journey, I learned to put boundaries for myself. Even if I get into another relationship, I will have boundaries for myself. I would know when something goes wrong, or if someone treats me a wrong way, or if I don't like how somebody's mentality is, or if we just don't click like that, bye. Get the fuck away from me. I'm not dealing with another shit. You're not on my line. You're not aligned with me, because I know what I want, and I know what I want with myself. If you're not that person, then I don't want you. You know, if you're not giving me what I need and providing me what I need, because I need somebody that is a provider. Next, he was a provider. He definitely was. He definitely had providing aspects of himself. Did he do it all the time? Not once in the blue moon, but I would say, like, not enough that I was wanting in life, you know, and needing. But he was always doing those nice things, always when something bad happened, okay? When the nice things came, it was always when something bad just happened. Now realizing that, I'm just like, even though he was a provider and he gave me the things that I desired at that moment, I realized what he was doing, okay? It was like this study of a guy who basically, his name, I think it was Dr. Phil. He was studying at university. I saw this when I was doing my research. And he gave a pigeon a button, okay? He gave a pigeon a button, and the pigeon would always hit the button, and the pigeon would eat the food, and the pigeon would hit the button again, and it would eat the food, right? So constantly, all right? Soon enough, the pigeon, he basically made the machine stop working a little less, so they would have to hit the button multiple times to get a response, to get the food. So the response back was the food, right? And he kept lowering it until the pigeon basically was every single time hitting it so hard, he passed the fuck away, okay? He passed away because he wanted that thing. He was so obsessed with getting that food that it was receiving, and he knew every time he was doing it before, he was giving it, right? And because he was giving less, he wanted more. He wanted to make it happen. And that's what I say into a situation of mine, or probably some people. They would give you everything in the beginning and give you everything that you desire, and then they would do less, and then they do less, and then you start to become obsessed with that feeling and wanting and chasing that. That's called an attachment. What I'm about to say is chasing that feeling from him. And that's what I was chasing. I was chasing a feeling that he was always providing for me in the beginning. He was giving me everything I wanted, literally everything. And I was always wanting that breadcrumb he was giving to me. Then I realized he was just giving me breadcrumbs. He was not giving me the whole thing I wanted. You know, that was not it. And I had to realize that it was really much, and it turned into, I had an obsession and attachment over this man that barely gave me anything. He was providing, but providing very little for me. And he was doing all this other shit to me. So it was like, what the hell am I doing? I had to realize that to myself. What the hell am I doing to myself? And that's when I think today, like, if I ever truly ever think of getting back into a relationship with somebody, I would know the boundaries I want for myself. I would know how I want to be treated. Trust me, I already told multiple men since I've been, like, on this healing journey to just leave me the fuck alone. Like, I literally would just be so rude to them. I just don't care. Like, I know how they acted and who they were. They were not on my, not level, I should say, but not on my frequency that I cared about. I knew what I wanted for myself. I knew where I wanted to take further for myself, and I wanted somebody to also help me grow. I also put boundaries in acceptance with what I want for my future person I have. I want somebody to that have me grow. I want someone to be a provider for me. I want somebody to treat me like a princess, to actually put me first. You know what I mean? I always say your career is your biggest thing, but you better put me damn right equal to it. Damn right equal to your career and shit. Because I deserve to be a part of that. You're working on that career to provide for our family, you know? That's how I think of a relationship. What's the point? You know? If you're not providing for me, then what the fuck are we doing? Alright? And I always believe 50-50, you know? I do believe women should definitely give back because men do feel like they need to be appreciated. Like, that's a whole different topic. Back onto the topic of what we're talking about. Yes, I definitely put boundaries for myself. And I see how I put boundaries. And I see the men that ick me now. The ones that literally I know is just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're a child. You're literally a child. Like, the things you do as a child, and I'm laughing in my fucking head right now. And I would never give you a chance. Never. Because I did the work. No, I'm kidding. I did the work, and I took my time to do the work. And work on myself. Where's my book? Cannot find it right now. But I have a book, and that's truly what started my journey and helping me even get out of my situation. So I definitely say for everybody to maybe pick up journaling, pick up writing things down, and you'll see a difference, and you'll see things come out into play, into the reality of life, into your life. You might not even realize if you're writing things down, you're saying something to somebody. You understand? Somebody's watching and somebody's reading that. It could be your ancestors, it could be your people around you, because I always believe everybody is always protected by somebody. So there's no fucking way in this universe that you're not protected by somebody. I believe ancestors, spirit guides, same kind of denario. I guess so. New word. Denario. Don't even think that's a word, but scenario, I meant to say. But definitely believe everybody's definitely truly guided in life, you know? No one's by themselves. No one's going through life by themselves. It's truly inaccurate in life. There is definitely always somebody watching you, and you will definitely see the help. If you're writing things down, you don't even gotta write things down. Maybe talk to yourself, maybe record or something like that, and play it back to yourself. And maybe you have to just realize it on your own, because you don't have to take a spiritual path. I believe it definitely helped me, and you would definitely see things play out into your world. But that's just the advice I'm giving to you. You don't have to take it. You couldn't even have to associate writing with spirituality. Just write for yourself and reread it back to yourself, and really think to yourself. Remember your morals in life. Remember what you carry heavy to you and what you want, you know? This is very much of a deep topic to talk about. I will definitely explain more things of things that happen in relationships that you should definitely watch out for them and not take, you know? I say the things that experience that happened to me, it was very scary, and I don't think anybody really knew around me, not even my family, not even my friends, it was done for me till I finished it myself, until I finished that myself, that chapter in my life. And sometimes it does hurt to look back at it, but let me tell you this, now, like I said, sometimes it hurts to look back at it. That's when it was like all coming out, like I was really detaching, like literally dragging myself out of this situation, out of this toxic shit. Because even if trust me, I know the feeling of, even though you're not with the person, it still feels like they're still there. You know, like you still feel like you're attached to them. Even though you might even left them or not even talk to them anymore. You guys are broken up or on a break. Breaks are not fucking real, okay? They're not fucking real. Just be off and that's it. No, I'm kidding. Don't take a break. You have to have a genuine, legitimate reason to take a break. For real. There's, like, you had to be moving across the country, right? Or we're done. Okay? Because I'm not going to be confused here. We're not going to be confused here. It's not going to be, oh, we're on a break. You can do whatever the fuck you want. No, we're not confused here. If you're confused, go find somebody else that's confused, because I'm not confused. I know what I want, and I know what I could get from people and from men, you know? And that's not just saying that, oh, because I'm this bad bitch. Because, yes, I am that bad bitch. No, I'm kidding. You ever see that guy on TikTok? Like, no, sorry. But I do that for you. Okay, baby. That guy. But I'm sorry. I know my worth. And I know what I want to accept into my life. And I'm deserving of it. I'm very much deserving of that. I'm a woman in this world. I give you what your children that you fucking birth, that you want. Okay, baby? Let me stop. But I do have worth. Everybody has value. Even men have value, you know? Because you know what? This is not just a woman type thing. It could be a man. Men could go through this too. You understand? It's not right to be hit on either occasions. If you're getting emotionally hit, it's not emotionally hit. Cut. If you're getting emotionally like abused and physically hit, physically abused, god damn. Physically abused, it's not right. It's truly not right on either parts. It's gonna put you into a very negative cloud and out into this depression, and you feel like you're worthless in life, and you're not. Nobody is worthless in this life, and that's all I have to tell you. You're not worthless. You're just surrounding, your environment is making you think that. Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And this is just from my experience, you know. I very much learned a lot when I tell you. And I very much wish nobody to go through what I went, you know. Nobody to have to experiencing that because they just didn't know. Or they just didn't realize. Not that they didn't know, because I knew. I had this in the back of my head all the time. I just didn't want to accept it. But the knowledge to know that it's truly, when I say truly, not at all right to put hands on anybody or be emotionally abusive to your fucking partner. Okay? It's really not. And if you guys could joke about that and joke about this, then look at your character. Look at the type of person you are, because that's who I will judge you on. I will judge you on that. I will judge men truly my whole life, whoever put their hands on a woman. You look so low of yourself. Disgusting. I hope karma gets the worst of you. Truly. And that's the truth about it. And I hope people could see it from that point of view, and it took me a while to really accept that for myself. And it takes a while for anybody, you know? But I hope this helps. I know this is a very deep, touchy subject, but also I will have to say, if you are in this situation, there's a lot of hotlines you could call, you know, and don't be afraid to call the cops. Do not be afraid to call the cops, okay? Because I was in a situation that the man we were fighting throughout his whole house, and it was bad. And I was so afraid to call the cops. Because that was trauma from my past and my father and things like that. Because he used to call the cops all the time on me, even though he would beat me. Didn't understand how that worked, but then it just gave me a fear of cops. Not anymore. Love some cops. Some of them. Cops are very much good cops in this one. I do believe that. I will have to say. I've come around my fair share of cops. Very much helped me and very much got me out of situations and got me to see things. And I got a couple cops that were screaming in my face and yelling at me that I was wrong. And screaming at me to chasing me. Doesn't even matter. We're just not going to talk about that. But in my house. But it doesn't matter. You know? All the cops. Cops are always going to be on your side about things. Even though you're scared about it. Maybe you're nervous about your situation. Call them. Go to the place. File a report. Do anything you can. Don't be afraid. Because he's not. He's not afraid of you. Okay? If he could put hands on you, he's not afraid of you. He sees you as less of him. That's so wrong. But it's the truth. He sees you less. He doesn't even see you as a person, as a woman. Because if he says, oh, I would never hit women, then why are you hitting women? Why are you hitting me? Think of it like that. Why are you hitting me? If you would never hit women, doing it to me. So you think of me less of a woman? You think of less of me? Put this in your head, okay? Don't think this man loves you. Do not think. Don't just think he has anger issues. He'll get over it. He's okay. No. Motherfucker needs to be put in jail. No, I'm kidding. No, yes. I'm not kidding about that. But he needs to stop cursing. But he needs to be put in jail for the things he does. You know? Not right. And, you know, if you have kids or you're like in this little bit harder situation, there's always hotlines to call to get yourself out of those situations. People will help you. There's groups and communities and things like that will help you. You just have to open your mind to see it. Go on your phone, see it. Realize for your children, do it for your children. You would never want them to grow up like that, because trust me, you do not want your kids to not have a child. Okay? And still going on, I'm gonna end it off with a happy note. I hope everybody has a good day. If anybody needs to reach out, like I also say to myself, you need to reach out to me. I will always be here for anybody that needs help. I will always help. If you need to talk, I will always be here to talk. I have a TikTok. You could definitely follow me on there. Get my attention. I have an Instagram, lavish_Livy. Reach out and I will help you. Trust me, I will be there talking to you and telling you to get out and helping you through it, because I know how hard it is. And I know how hard it is to go on it by yourself and go through it by yourself, and you don't need to do that anymore, okay? I would definitely be your friend. We're friends now. We're friends. No, I'm kidding. But we are friends. Whoever's watching this, we're now best buddies. And I'm going to leave it like that. Peace out.